Hi, this is Matt with AppliancePartsPros.com. Today we'll be showing you how to repair your appliance. Remember, anytime you work on an appliance, make sure it's unplugged or the circuit breakers are off so there's no chance of electrocution. Also make sure you turn off the water supply underneath the sink. In this video we're going to show you how to change out the GE refrigerator lower cam riser. It's going to be a very easy repair and should only take a few minutes to show you how to do it. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can click on the link below or get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. When you open up the package, you're going to get the new lower cam riser. The lower cam riser is used on both the fresh food and the freezer door hinges, and it's what the door rides on when you open and close them. The main reason you'll be changing it out is if it's worn or damaged and the door isn't opening and closing properly. In order to get to the part, we have to open up both the refrigerator and freezer door so we can take off the kick plate. To get the kick plate off, there's locking tabs located right behind these double lines here on the plastic. So we're just going to grab it and pull it off. You may have to flex it a little bit. Once you have it off, you can pull it out and set it aside. The lower cam riser is the same on both the fresh food and the freezer door. They're both changed out the same way, except for the freezer door you have to take off the water line and the wiring harness on the top. So we're going to show you on the freezer door because it's a little bit more involved. Once you know what door you're doing, you can take everything off to make it lighter to lift off and then close the opposite door. To disconnect the water line, we're first going to reach in and pull it out from behind the bracket. Once you have the connector out, you can throw a towel down while we disconnect the line just in case any water comes out. Once you have the towel down, then we can grab a 3/8" wrench and we're going to push in on this locking collar. Once you have it pushed in, you can pull the water line out. Once you have it disconnected, you can pull the towel out. Then we can go up top and take the hinge off. Before you take the hinge off, you want to make sure that you have the freezer door closed. Once you have it closed, we can take the hinge cover off. We're going to use a 5/16" socket with a ratchet to take out the bolt. Once you have the bolt out of the threads, you can lift the cover and the bolt off and set it aside. Then we can disconnect this wiring harness. There's a little locking tab on the back side that we're just going to press. And we can disconnect the harness. And then we can use the same socket and ratchet setup to take out the two bolts that hold the hinge to the cabinet. Once you have the bolts off, we're going to swing the hinge off to the side a little bit so it doesn't get caught up on this rivet when we lift the door off. And then you want to make sure you keep a hand on the door as you get down so the door doesn't move. Now we can lift the door off the hinge. We're just going to carefully lift it away from the frame and then lift it up high enough so the water line comes out of the hinge. Once you have it off, you can carefully set the door aside so it doesn't get damaged. To get the lower cam riser off, all you have to do is press from underneath. There's a little peg that sticks down. If it's in there tight, you may have to get underneath it with a small screwdriver. But once you have it lifted up, you can pull it off the hinge pin. Here's the old lower cam riser next to the new one. If you already have one of these, great. If not, you can get it at AppliancePartsPros.com. In order to put the new lower cam riser on, all you have to do is line it up with the hinge and set it down into place. Once you have it on the hinge, we can put the freezer door back on. Before you put the freezer door back on, you want to look at the bottom to look at the upper cam riser. These usually wear out together, and it's a good idea to change them both at the same time because if you put a new part and an old part together, it'll just cause the new part to fail faster. In order to put the freezer door on, you want to carefully line it up so the water line goes through the hinge. Once you have it going through, you can lift it up, carefully lower it down. You might have to push the water line to the side. Once you have the door all the way on the hinge, we're going to carefully swing it closed so we can go up top and put the hinge on. We're just going to carefully lift it up and lift it over the rivet. And then once you have the bolt holes lined up, you can put them both back in. And then we're going to use the 5/16" socket with the ratchet to tighten them down. Once you have the hinge bolts tightened down, we can reconnect the wiring harness. All you have to do is line it up and make sure it locks into place. And then we can grab the hinge cover and the bolt and put it back on and tighten it down. Now that we have the hinge cover back on, we can go down and hook up the water line. To reconnect the water line, we're going to open up the freezer door, and we have to grab the union and the end of the water line from the door. You just have to plug this into the union, make sure it goes all the way in and bottoms out and locks into place. And then we can slide it back underneath the bracket to hold it in place. Now that we have the water line connected and secure, we can open up the fresh food door and put the kick plate on. To put the kick plate back on, all you have to do is slide into position. You want to make sure that the brackets go underneath the opening, and then you may have to lift it up so the lower locking tabs snap into place. Once you have the kick plate installed, we can close both the doors, turn the water back on, plug the refrigerator back in, and make sure it starts to cool. Thanks for joining us for another successful repair brought to you by AppliancePartsPros.com. Check out our other repair videos on our site, Facebook, and YouTube.